Hey everybody, Madeline here to continue my book study on the mineral salts required by each of the zodiac signs and why. And it is a book written by George W. Carey. And I tell you more about the introduction of the book on my Aries post before this. Today I'm going to look at Taurus. And this man is writing about this because it's very important as we transit into the new era where we really need to have our mineral salts are quite important for each of the zodiac sign to function at their best. Okay. So, and he goes on to explain that in my other video. I explain why. Okay. So anyway, the Taurus is the winged bull of the zodiac. The winged bull of Nineveh is a symbol of the great truth that substance is materialized air, and that all so-called solid substances may be resolved into air. So that is referring to the great wisdom that the Hermetic wise men, the priests of Egypt, taught, that everything had three states of existence. We have ether, liquid, or solid. So we'll go on. Taurus is the earth sign, but earth's soul is precipitated aerial elements. This chemical fact was known to the scientists of the Taurian age over 4,000 years ago. Therefore, they carved the emblem of the zodiacal sign with wings. So in other words, the reason the bull is depicted with wings is because really what Taurus is a conduit between the higher realm and the physical material realm. Aries needed to keep a mineralized brain and head balance in order to keep clear higher consciousness knowledge or guidance or aligned actions. Now, Taurians need a balance in their minerals in order, their job is to take the air element and bring it into a solid material substance. Okay? That is why they're called, that's why they put wings on them, because the Taurus is not just a material digger of the dirt. They're actually bringing something of value and need into a tangible state. Those born between the dates of April 19th and May 20th can descend very high into the materiality soar or high as the heavens. I think I read that part. All right. So he says, there's a little quote here from a writer, another writer that he's quoting. It says, "It is a vision waiting and aware, and you must bring it down, O men of worth. Bring down the new republic hung in the air and make for it foundations on earth." So the Taurans are causing a foundation. They're bringing something that is in non-material, and they're bringing it into the material. They're creating a foundation from it, not just something that's decorative, but something that's needed, life supportive. Air is the raw material for blood, and when it is drawn in or breathed in rather by the infinite alchemist to the blood vessels, it unites with the philosopher's stone mineral salts, and in the human laboratory creates blood. There you go. So the air, when mixed with a mineral, particular mineral salts, through the process of breathing, creates blood. So the blood is the elixir of life. The sulfate of sodium sulfate, known to druggists as nat sulf, chemically corresponds to the physical and mental characteristics of those born in the Taurus month. Taurus is represented by the cerebellum or lower brain and neck. So the Aries is the head above the base of the, where the nervous system, in other words, where the skull begins is Aries and up, and then where it meets is Taurus, and Taurus is the neck. Taurus rules the neck. So a deficiency in nat sulf in the blood is always manifested by pains in the back of the head, sometimes extending down the spine and affecting the liver. The first cell salt to become deficient in symptoms of disease in the Taurus native is nat sulfate. The chief office of nat sulfate is to eliminate the excess of water from the body. So this is interesting. So he goes on to say that the reason Taurans need sodium sulfate is because in hot weather, the atmosphere becomes heavily laden with water and is thus breathed into the blood through the lungs. One molecule of the Taurus salt has the chemical power to take up and carry out the systems of two molecules of water. So blood does not become overcharged with water from water we drink, but from an atmosphere overcharged with aqueous vapors drawn from water in rivers, lakes, and swamps by heat of the sun above 70 degrees in the shade. The more sulfur water there is to be thrown out of blood, the more sodium sulfate required. So basically, more water during the warmer seasons when the air is above 70 degrees in the shade and there is water vapor, more water vapor in the air. The taurins are breathing in more water, which then dilutes and interferes with the mineral balance of the function that causes taurins to alchemize air into blood. Now, blood is a metaphor. It also can be a metaphor for the reality because blood is life-giving. Blood is the life force. That's what he says here. Blood is the elixir of life. So the taurins are grounding a life force. They're grounding structures on the reality plane that is life supportive and needed. Yeah. The symbol of the New Testament, Taurus corresponds with the disciple, Thaddeus, meaning firmness or led by love. So in other words, solidity that is created by the Taurin in its highest state is grounding something higher. And the Taurus is alchemizing that process through their breathing process, and they need a balance of sodium sulfate in order to facilitate that alchemical process. All right, next I'm going to do Gemini, but I have a lot of other posts I want to do in the interim. So stay tuned if you are Gemini, wanting to know about Gemini. But until then, I will do, I'm going to do the 12 signs. So anyway, have a great day.